Did you hear the story about the woman whose mother passed away and then she found out that her brother was actually her father? A woman named Helen had been taking care of her mother for 2 years after she was diagnosed with cancer. Helen was super close with her mom. She even described her mom as her best friend. So when her mother passed away, she was devastated. She couldn't even begin to process her grief. As the family made funeral arrangements, Helen's older brother Sam warned her not to touch any of her mother's personal belongings. He said that he would take care of those things and he would call her in later so that she can choose among those items that she wanted as keepsakes. Helen thought that that was an odd request, but she shrugged it off because she and her brother Sam had never had a good relationship in the first place. Ever since she could remember, she felt like Sam was treating her like she had some kind of disease and he never wanted to be around her, so she didn't really feel like he was her brother at all. Weeks after the funeral, one evening, Helen learned that Sam's wife had gone into labor. And since she knew that he would be busy at the hospital all evening, she decided to go ahead and take a peek into her mother's belongings. She rifled through old papers and packages until she found an old book. And when she opened it, she noticed that it was her mother's handwriting. She had discovered her mother's old diary. Helen was confused when she noticed the dates. The diary covered a 2-year period before Helen was born. The first page had a warning note asking anybody who found it not to read it and to throw it away immediately. But Helen ignored that, and she began scanning the pages, wondering what secrets her mother was trying to hide. It seemed that after Helen's mother got married, they were having trouble conceiving a child. She learned that her mother's husband had Sam from a previous relationship, but by the time he married Helen's mother, he had already had so many health complications that he wasn't able to have children anymore. Helen kept reading and discovered that her mother was so sad because she really wanted a child. So she approached her husband and asked him for a favor that she didn't think he would agree to. Helen's mother suggested to her husband that instead of adopting a child, maybe they could ask his son Sam to be the sperm donor so that they could have a biological child who was actually related to them. As Helen kept reading the diary entries, she learned that Sam said yes, and they went through with the procedure. Helen's mother was overjoyed when she found out that she was pregnant with Helen. At 36 years old, Helen could not believe the bombshell that just disrupted her life. Helen just realized that her brother was actually her biological father, and her father was actually her grandfather. Helen was so confused and distressed, all she wanted to do was talk to someone about it. But since her mother and her father had passed away, she only had Sam to lean on. She waited a few days and called up Sam and told him what she found in her mother's old diary. And Sam became angry, screaming at her, cursing at her, and telling her he never wants to speak to her again. He cut her off from his life completely with no response or no explanation. Helen was devastated because now she had no family. And here she was, holding on to a secret that her mother had kept with her and took to the grave. What do you think of this story? Leave a comment to let me know. I'm Te-Erika with the T. Follow for more.